everyone. I can see a hand raised by Linus. Good morning. Do you have any comment to give? If you have any questions, kindly drop them in the chat window, please, to be duly responded to. So once again, good morning, everyone, wherever you're joining us from. Welcome to Microsoft Sentinel webinar, themed Fortifying Your Digital Estate with Intelligent Security. I'm Tolu Lawani, and I'll be your anchor for today's session. So before we start, I'd like to just mention that this session is going to be recorded and will be provided based on demand. Also, should you have any questions or concern why this webinar is ongoing, do feel free to drop them in the chat window. They'll be duly responded to. So I'll start by introducing our speakers for today. We have two Microsoft certified cloud solutions architects who will be facilitating this session. We have Tuamen Etenalo and Kennedy Leketi. And just to give you an overview of what to expect today, we are going to start with an introduction of who we are at Reliance Infosystems, then delve into conversations on security awareness, why your SecOps team need artificial intelligence, and then an introduction on Microsoft Sentinel, Azure Defender, a demo session, and finally, a question and answer segment as well. So I'll delve into the introduction immediately. Reliance Infosystems is a leading ICT firm. We are headquartered in Lagos, Nigeria, but we have footprints in Botswana, Abuja, Ghana, and Kenya. We are focused on helping organizations to transform digitally. Also, we help them to create unique value proposition and harness the power of innovative technologies for growth. Physically, we are present in 7 countries, including Ghana, Botswana, Kenya, UAE, Pakistan, and UK. And then we have digital footprints in 22 other countries across the globe. So we've been able to come this far because of our success outcome philosophy, which is based on the principle that we see our customers as our partners, and then we ensure that we are fully involved in the journey they take from point A to the expected destination. Also, we measure our success as a brand based on the quantum of progress we've helped our customers to achieve. As part of our success strategy, we have 3 success pillars that guide how we operate. We have the business transformation pillar, operational excellence, and protection assurance. I'll speak briefly on each of these pillars in a moment, starting with business transformation pillar. Here, we help businesses to transform digitally by lowering the cost of operation, helping them to improve efficiency and maximize productivity. Some solutions we offer under this pillar include identity and access management, business productivity platform, enterprise storage, cloud hosting solution, process automation, to mention but a few. Next is the operational excellence pillar. Here we understand that businesses are trying to optimize how people relate with data, systems, and processes. So we help them to achieve this and then deliver unrivaled business outcomes. So solutions we provide under here include modern ERP solution, customer engagement, RPA, data platform, digital advisory, and then business intelligence. Finally, the last pillar is the protection assurance pillar. Here we offer rest of mind as a service to our clients, knowing that we operate in a world where cyber attacks and intrusion is on the rise daily. So some solutions we offer here include gateway protection, endpoint protection, advanced threat protection, vulnerability assessment, and security intelligence. So I'd also like to tell you about our capabilities finally, and why you can trust us to work with you in your transformation journey. We have gold and silver competencies for several Microsoft solutions. We also have advanced specialization in Windows Server and SQL Server migration to Microsoft Azure, in adoption and change management, in modernization of web application to Microsoft Azure, in meeting rooms and calling for Microsoft Teams, as well as in low-code app development. And then I'd like to also mention that we have won the Microsoft Country Partner of the Year award for Nigeria this year. We've earned the same feat in the past in 2017 and also in Ghana for last year. We've also won the Sophos Country Partner of the Year award for Nigeria this year. So you can trust us to partner with you and help you achieve all your transformation goals. So I'm done with the introduction, and then I'll be handing over to my colleague Tenalo to take us through the webinar in proper, starting with the security awareness session. Tenalo, you may have the floor, please.
All right. Thank you so much, Tolulope. Um, Good morning, everyone. My name is Swamene Tenalo. I'm a Cloud Solutions Architect with Reliance Infosystems. And today I'll be taking you on this session on cloud, how to fortify your digital estate with intelligent security. All right, so the reason why we're bringing you this is to help you to see how you can actually protect your digital assets, how you can secure them, and have a good and protective environment to work in to protect your data in your organization. All right. So now we're going to focus this webinar, this session is to focus on the top tier security level, the security offerings that Microsoft has brought to us in order to help protect the environment and help us properly secure digital estates and bring together a more safe working environment and a safe space to work in, right? Now, recently, the past early this year, I think there were numerous number of ransomware attacks, right? So these attacks were all put together by most times same hackers hacking the same environment. Okay. Now these hackers actually found a way to steal this encrypted data, and not only that, they go about they ask for ransom and then decrypt it back to you for a particular amount that you need. Okay. Now, this option, this security webinar is to give you an awareness, to give you a full protection on how you can fully secure your environment. All right. So now there is a statistic that talks about how there are two kinds of big companies, those who've been hacked and those who don't know that they've been hacked. Now, this statistic brought together by James Comey, which is really correct. All right. So there are those companies, organizations who know that they've been hacked and those who don't know that they've been hacked. So it is left for us to really, get, sorry, you can see my slide. All right, so it's left for us to actually know how to protect our environment from what we call account takeover. And then there are attacks that stay longer, that persistent, that dominate your organizational data and remain there without you knowing that they are there. All right. So, but now this webinar, the purpose of this session is to let you know that you can totally secure your environment regardless of how, where you find yourself and where your data is in the cloud. All right. So now we're talking about your digital estate. So what is your digital estate? Now, your digital estate is your organization that has moved to an advanced level of technology in the cloud. All right, so that's what I mean by digital estate. Now, this digital estate is your organization right inside the cloud. Now, having your organization in the cloud brings about different opportunities for you. Now, what you can do with the cloud is really limitless because you can't really put a hands on what you can achieve inside of the cloud. The cloud is there open for us to have numerous things to be done for us. Now, you think you might have had advanced by having your organizational data right inside of the cloud. But then that means you don't have you don't need protection no more. No, that's actually wrong because the more you find yourself advanced inside of the cloud, the more these threats become sophisticated and also find a way to attack you and how to find a way to having which might lead to different kinds of accounts compromise and account takeovers as the case may be, right? So the cloud gives you this space to do a lot, but then inside doing a lot inside of the cloud, you need to secure your environment. You need to secure what you have right inside of the cloud. So this is the reason why Microsoft has stepped in, right, to give you this level, this offering of Microsoft Sentinel to protect your environment totally right inside of the cloud. Now, what I mean by now, I believe in you have your traditional SecOps, you have the SecOps, I mean your security team that's in your organization. Now, this security team is meant, the purpose for this to protect your environment. Now, this security team comes in, they protect your environment. They do less because they can't do all, because they are limited, right? So this limitation makes them not achieve a whole lot that they plan to achieve. Now, we have what we call the sophisticated number of threats. Now, all these are called false positives because they have alerts coming from different places that they don't, they can't even know, because now these applications, they have different applications. As a security operative, you have different applications right inside your organization. Now, these applications are all develop what we call alerts. Now, these alerts are called false positives because they bring up different alerts, both from the ones that are in use, the ones that are not in use, and the ones that probably are not necessary at the moment. But they all bring up alerts. Now, when these alerts come up, they don't know which one to attend to, so they don't they don't have this priority, so there's no prioritized or channeled focus on the environment that they want to channel, they want to focus on. So now these setups are left with different challenges to handle. Let's say they are short. Now these attacks and threats, they are spread across different places, different environments. Now that means you don't have, if let's say there are 100 threats or attacks on a particular organization, right? Your SecOps is not enough up to that. So there is shortage in security level. There is shortage in security because they can't attend to all of these threats at the same time. This is why Microsoft Sentinel have come to fill up that space so that you don't have to bother about running helter-skelter and looking for how to defend your environment. Now, it has made it possible, not only as a it has made it possible for your security operative to work with the Sentinel to achieve that. Now, I'll move to the next slide that explains that briefly. Now, these your security operations team, right, now have to work with your cloud intelligence in the cloud. So the Sentinel is embedded with what we call the artificial intelligence and machine learning. All right, so by this now, it's become easy to solve complex problems. So the machine learning model now makes it easy to solve all of the additional complexities that you cannot detect. Now, there are some anomalies that your normal SecOps team can detect, but the Sentinel has come to help to detect that, coupled with your security operative team. All right. Now, I'm going to tell you that Microsoft comes with a unique way of approach to bring about security at every level, wherever level point you find yourself. All right, so this is a solution that you don't want to miss out at all. So now, how does Microsoft, bring about this unique approach to us? And I'm going to explain that. Now, Microsoft brings this unique approach by having a platform to where your security is it's being utilized with the intelligence scheme and also with partners. All right, so I'm going to explain that briefly. Now, by intelligence, I mean that now I mentioned about AI and machine learning before, right? So this intelligence have helped to, really secure your environment with good amounts of experts on ground to really pay attention to all kinds of signals that come in, daily things that you have, like these experts, like Microsoft has over 3,500 experts on ground, security experts, right? So what do these experts do? So these experts also simulate an attack, you know. So they get to analyze all kinds of things that come in, the threats that come in, and then pay attention to it. Now, in terms of intelligence, the AI is there for to really take full effect, to know what comes in out of your organization, what goes in and what goes out. So that is how intelligent this offerings from Microsoft actually is. So now, not only the intelligence, it works with the platform. So Microsoft works with the platform. I'm talking about from the identity down to your devices, to your apps and data. All these are platforms to which security is being embedded to make sure that you have a swift working environment and a seamless working environment, so that you don't have to worry about security when it comes to when you're really under the Microsoft security system. Right. Microsoft also works with partners. So by partners, partnering with the peers, with industry alliances, and also with the government. So Microsoft partners with government. So all these are to ensure a top tier level of a secured working environment wherever you find yourself. All right. So I've been talking about Microsoft Sentinel. So really, what really is Microsoft Sentinel? Now, Microsoft Sentinel is a cloud-native CM and SOA solution that is being embedded inside the cloud platform for you. Now, what I mean by CM, in case because everyone knows that CM is a security information and event management, all right? While the SOA is a security orchestrated automated response. So this means it responds to all of these threats automatically. Now, what the CM solution does, this Microsoft Sentinel does, is that in normal terms for you to understand properly better. Now, this CM solution goes into your devices, wherever you have your data. Let's say the servers on premise, your server, your cloud, your applications, your um, endpoints, all of them. You can mention them. So what this same solution, it goes inside there and pulls out data logs to get insights of what is happening around. Now, I didn't mention the third-party cloud. Now, it goes into the third-party cloud. Now, let's say you have your data inside of the cloud that is not Microsoft Azure, right? There's not a Microsoft cloud. Now it goes into that. Let's say you have your data in AWS, the Amazon Web Services, inside of the let's say Alibaba Cloud, different cloud, Google Cloud, right? So the Sentinel goes right in there, pulls out this information, that collects the information, collects insights, gains insight from them, and doesn't stop at there. It goes further to detect all of these insight that it has gotten, detects this information that's being gotten, and then investigates thoroughly. So it goes further to investigate them, and then later also respond to these threats. So that is how swift and smooth this Microsoft Sentinel really works for you. And I didn't mention that it has a limitless cloud speed and scale. So by scaling, I mean, no matter how much the size of the organization or the data that you have, it can scale up and scale down to fit every size of your data right inside of the cloud. And the good part is you can bring, if your organization have your Office 365, your Microsoft 365 data on premise or wherever it is. Now you can bring it on board of the Sentinel, right? And then for free, you don't pay for those services. So you bring it on board of the Sentinel for free. And then easy integration with existing tools. Now I'm going to explain that as the time goes, as we move on to the slide, right? So with faster protection, now I mentioned about AI. Now having AI by your side brings about a faster protection for you because the things that we can detect, the things that normal SecOps team cannot really detect, the AI goes about detecting them and giving you great insights, giving you a full time behavioral analysis of your environment. And by behavioral, I mean you can see what is going on in real time, what is happening in your environment. So this is one of the best things the Sentinel offers to your organization when you tend to use it. Now, it doesn't, I didn't mention when I've been talking about security from Microsoft. Now, having security from Microsoft gives you what we call the rest of mind as a service, right? Because Microsoft spends over $1 billion annually on security investments, on cybersecurity investments. Now, if you have getting to spend that much amount on security yearly, tells you how much impact effort they put in trying to protect your environment. So Microsoft doesn't just leave you, bring these things and let you go. It gives you that assurance that and safety that you're going to benefit, you're going to have value for whatever you're paying for. Because with much amount spent on security, that is a whole lot of investment to make sure that everything that you have under the Microsoft security is being catered for and responded to. So like I mentioned before now, prior to now, I said there are about over 3,500 global security experts, and all these experts are all there to detect and respond to your environment swiftly and to gather information. So there is nothing that's don't that's left unhandled. All right. So they have trillions of diverse signals for unparalleled intelligence being read on a daily. So this has to do a lot with the benefits that Microsoft comes to brings to us in terms of security. Now, I didn't mention about the limitless cloud speed that Microsoft has for us. All right, now I'm going to list that for us. So now I did mention about your security team getting to, feel more relaxed in order to handle the workloads that they have at hand. Now, it's actually Sentinel, Microsoft Sentinel actually onboarding the SecOps team. Now they can be faced with what they have in their organization without going to run for the other all the false positives that they receive on the daily. And the good part about the Microsoft Sentinel is there is no infrastructure or maintenance on ground. You don't have to set up an infrastructure. You don't have to go further like, oh, I need to maintain this, I need to do that. No, everything is being set up for you. So the moment you have your infrastructure set up, the moment you have everything set up, it is inside of the cloud. No matter the moment you have your connectors and everything being input inside of the Sentinel, now you're good to go. Everything takes care of itself. The maintenance takes care of itself. The setup takes care of itself. And I'm sure you'll be seeing the demo after now, so you can understand, have a better view of what I'm talking about, right? So you can scale automatically and have no limits on your compute or storage devices. Now, by scaling, I mean that if, let's say, you have a large amount of workloads inside of the cloud, or you have a less amount, and you're worried, how can the Sentinel actually go up this? Or if you reduce them when you had a larger amount, and right now it's lesser than it was, or if you increase them where it was really lesser. So you're going to wonder, how does the Sentinel handle that? No, the Sentinel is is really intelligent. Like I said, it's an intelligent system that works for you perfectly. So it automatically scales up and scales down regarding to the size of your workload. So you don't have to worry about how do I impute that, right? So that's one of the best great benefits that Sentinel provides for you. Now I'm going to go into the part whereby you know that you have a traditional CM environment. Yes, everyone has organization have the traditional protection security that they have on ground, right? Traditional CM solution. But then um, have you ever sat down to think about how this thing really the cost that you gather over time? Now, having a traditional SIM environment means you have to pay for hardware setup. It means that you have to constantly maintain it. It means that you have to constantly set up the software. All right. Now, setting up the hardware costs money. Getting to maintain it costs a lot of money. And then trying to also have the software setup is going to cost you money. So on the long run, you're incurring a lot of costs, like high amounts of costs in the hardware. But the Sentinel relieves you of all these expenses you would have made, right? So in the Sentinel, everything is handled for you. Like you only pay for what you use. I know you might have questions later on now that, but you pay for only the logs that you ingested right inside of Sentinel. So you don't go about guy trying to pay over a year plan. You pay for what you use. So that gives you ease and rest of how to continue making continuous payments on different things. So that actually brings costs and costs for you. And I did mention earlier about bringing your Office 365 data on board the Sentinel for free, right? So we have predictable billing with capacity reservations and a flexible model and no annual commitments. Just like I said, it's pay as you go. So you pay as you use, and it gives you a seamless coverage over your environment. All right. So now I'm going to tell you how to integrate with tools, existing tools and data sources. Now, the good part about this security, this CM solution from Microsoft is that you can bring about your workload from all sources. Now, I don't know where you have your organization has any of these other tools that you think for security, and you're wondering, do I have to come on board the Sentinel to start building all of these things together? No, you don't have to come on board the Sentinel to start building. You can bring your pre-built machine learning models, all you've had before, all your security tools. You can bring them right inside of the Sentinel, and it takes effect from there. All your connectors, the third-party connectors, you bring them right inside the Sentinel, and it does the job for you excellently. Now, you might say, I have a lot of logs. I have a lot of logs to be ingested. Will it be able to take that amount every day? Now, the Sentinel has a proven platform with more than 10 petabytes of daily ingestion of logs. So that is a whole lot to compare to what you can bring in. So that is just a whole lot for you. So it is going to fit into your data, every data you want to bring on board the Sentinel. All right. So the Sentinel actually optimizes your needs. So it can helps you to optimize whatever you have Now, I mentioned about bringing your insights, your machine learning models, and all your threat intelligence on board the Sentinel. And then, right, that is going to work well. That for everyone, the organizations that have there's a GitHub community right inside of the Azure portal in the Sentinel, where you can also click and go straight to the GitHub and bring on the build facilities that you want, the repositories that you want from the GitHub platform, and bring it right inside the Sentinel, and it takes care of all of that for you. That is how smart and intelligent this Microsoft offering really works and how it is. All right. So this is just this image here is just an overview of the dashboard of how the Sentinel works and how it helps to secure your environment and the rest of them. So after this, there will be a demo session where you can see all of that and how it works for you. Now, I mentioned about AI being by your side. Now, this is a fast and a smooth security level that brings about here that caters for your environment. So having AI detects every insight that you make, detects every move, and gives you uh, you know, a holistic coverage on your environment. So there is nothing left out when it comes to having AI work for you with the Sentinel. Now it gives you, I mentioned about behavioral analytics before, because that is what is showing in real time. It's helps to detect threats and analyze security data quickly. That is what the AI that's here does for you in your Sentinel. So the machine learning models are based on decades of Microsoft security experiences. So these machine learning models are there to detect step by step on how to go about your workloads, how to secure workloads. I mean, it gives a total overview of everything that happens within your organization. All right. So now let's talk about how reducing alert fatigue by up to 90%. Now you're wondering, what does alert fatigue mean? Now, before now I explained earlier about having numerous alerts. So all these alerts coming from different sides. All of these are called the going to sum up to alert fatigue, because you don't know which of them to prioritize. You don't know where to go to. You don't know which of these things to focus on. So you have alerts peeping from all kinds of sources, right? So all these are called is going to exhaust you. Normally, as being a SecOps team, it's going to be exhausting trying to pay attention to all the alerts all the time. But then Sentinel reduces the alert fatigue and makes it to focus on what you have at hand, makes it to focus on where the threat is coming from, makes you to focus from all kinds of, maybe there's a compromise somewhere, you get to see it in real time and then nail on that, focus on that intelligently. All right. So I mentioned about how to view. You're going to view. You can actually view where this attacks or threats or compromise or account takeover may be coming from. Now, you don't want to have a third party that you didn't give access to access your environment. But the Sentinel, it doesn't. You don't do the work. Now, the Microsoft Sentinel helps you to see that. Now, in the sense that it gives you a graphical representation of what is going on. So you can see this is AI based. This graph that you see here, it's AI based. So it gives you a root cause environment on a holistic view on how to really find out who or where this particular file or wherever my workload is being accessed. So you can really literally click on any of these and gives you a total pointer to where your destination of where this is being logged out from, where someone logged in from in real time. And you can see the date and the time and the location, right? So there'll be a demo to show that you can visualize the effects of the attack. They have attacks ranging from high, medium, and low. So from here, you can literally visualize the attack. You can see the high attacks, the low attacks. You can see it right from the dashboard. All right, that is how seamless the Sentinel really works. And that is how effective it works. So you can be on your own and see all of this working together for you. All right. So I mentioned about there are two types, there are two tiers of top security level that I'm bringing to you today, so you can get to see them. Now, I'm going to move over to the one we call the Microsoft Defender for Cloud. All right, so I know, like, probably you might be wondering, what does this Microsoft Defender for Cloud really do, and how does it work for you? What are the things the benefits of it? Now, what this Microsoft Defender, it helps to protect your multi-cloud and hybrid cloud environments, right? So this Defender for Cloud is a solution that protects your servers, not only the ones on premise, but also the ones you have in the cloud and the ones you have from different zones inside of the cloud. So, or wherever you have it. So it doesn't only help you to protect them, it also makes you to strengthen the security configuration that you have on your resources. So it helps to manage both the compliance against maybe critical workloads or industry, different things. So with the Microsoft Defender for Cloud, right, you can enable threat protection to your workloads or running both in Azure, AWS, or Google Cloud. You can enable threat protection on all of these platforms, and doesn't stop at there, right? You can detect vulnerabilities to protect your multi-cloud. You can detect them and also pay close attention in monitoring all the workloads that you have right inside of the cloud. That is the benefits of having this Microsoft Defender for Cloud on your workloads. Now you can see this picture. This shows the cartoonic character of malwares, and this hammer signifies your antivirus. So your antivirus, right, cannot really defend your workload as much as you want. Now, having the traditional antivirus is limited because it can't handle all the things that you wish it could have handled. So your antivirus on your desktop, the desktop antivirus is really, really limited. So it doesn't have much to do for you. All right. So now this is a unique platform that this unique security level helps you to, it's embedded with the machine learning and also the AI. So you can gain it is trained to actually find attacks, gain insights on your environment, and also filter all those false positives like I mentioned earlier. All right. So having Microsoft Defender for Cloud and your Sentinel, they work hand in hand to protect your environment. So you can have a top tier level protection on your device, on your organization, rather. So Azure Defender, Microsoft Defender, it's called, you see Azure because it's formerly known as Azure Defender, but now it's known as the Microsoft Defender for Cloud. Now I mentioned on how it protects, you can see an image of how it protects your servers, your SQL storage, your applications, your IoT, the Internet of Things, down to your multi-cloud environments, to your AWS, to your Microsoft Azure, to your Google Cloud platform. So this is how seamless and broad this top level security actually works in protecting your workloads and your environment and right inside of the cloud. All right. So this is just an overview on giving you a good statistics on your environment, of the details of the workloads that you have, those that you've connected. And this is just during the demo session after now, you'll get to see how these solutions work for you and how they can help to protect your workload right inside of the cloud. All right. So I believe after now you will have no problems or no issues trying to have a safe space to work in your environment. So I'll be handling over to a demo session with my colleague Kennedy Leketi, who will take you on from here to guide you and show you in real time how these solutions work in protecting your environment and having a safe space. So Kennedy Leketi, please kindly take over the demo session.
All right, so hello, hi everyone. So I believe we've actually seen a whole lot, and my colleague Tenelo has actually done a whole lot of justice to how you can amplify your organization with the power of AI. Okay, so please feel free to drop your questions should you have any in the comment section, and we have a whole lot of security experts that are available to respond to those questions. If you have any concern, please feel free to drop your questions on the chat box. Okay, so I will be walking you through the demo session today. So, but before I do that, I want us to talk a little bit on the threat landscape as of today. You understand that over time, all right, the threat landscape focuses on organizations, okay, group of people, their critical information or data, try to encrypt the data and ask for ransom, just like my colleague have said. All right, and it doesn't really matter, what kind of organization you actually are, if you are a big organization or just a small size organization. It doesn't really matter. So these bad guys, okay, they only focus on people like you and I, organizations, and try to encrypt your data, ask for ransom, and before they can get to encrypted data. And sometimes your data are not fully or 100% gotten back. But ever since the shift, to a remote workforce where organizations are now forced to work from home, and the whole remote work, evolved, cyber threats has actually increased. We've all seen it, and there are new types of emerging threats. There are new sophisticated attacks. Your traditional SecOps team can't necessarily do all of this by themselves, because as these threats are evolving, what they have in them, the knowledge they have in them traditionally can help fight against these threats. There are shortage of skills, when it comes to as these threats are evolving. All right, so I'm going to be walking you through this demo, and please feel free to ask questions once again. So this is what the Microsoft Sentinel dashboard looks like. So like my colleague said, that your Microsoft Sentinel is a CM and a SOAR solution, or see it as a bird's eye view across your enterprise, across your digital estate, on premises or the cloud. See it as something that gives you visibility, holistic or deep visibility across your digital estate, third-party cloud, wherever you have your data and all that. So it gives you idea of what's happening in real time across your devices, your users' identity, where your users are actually signing in from, your apps and data, your entire infrastructure, your on-premise servers, even your as far as the client machines, your users' PCs and all that. So you get to see information where they are actually logging in from, where they are brute force attack, malicious activities, things like unattempted sign in from a different location, that's where your users are, and also constant a user trying to access a particular device or access application within your environment consistently and keep getting the password reset or password fail. All right, so as you can see, this is where we have the threat management. All right, and within the threat management, you have tools like your incidents, your workbook, your hunting, all the way to the threat intelligence. So just like my colleague said, with the power of AI, you can actually bring in your own learning model. So if you have a traditional CM solution as at today, all right, you know that it's actually expensive to set up, because you need to think about cost of the physical servers, licensing, and setting it up can be very, very hectic, and you need to have the skills to set up that CM solution. But Microsoft Sentinel gives you that zero infrastructure, so you don't have to pay for any infrastructure. You're only paying for the logs which you are ingesting into the solution, which is Microsoft Sentinel. Those are the only things you're paying for. All right. So your incident talks about where if there is an event within your environment for the connectors or the sources which you've onboarded to Microsoft Sentinel. All right. If there's an incident, you get to see such incident. It pops up and reports to you in form of alerts, or you get to see it on the dashboard as an incident, right? And so I won't really talk about more of the CM, but I'll talk more on the SOAR solution, which is how you can automate, this solution and focus on more administrative things that matters within your environment. So we have the workbook. Okay, so the workbooks are predefined templates where for every connector you've onboarded to Microsoft Sentinel, right, there's a workbook where you can use to visualize this data, your devices, your users' information, like your Office 365, even your third-party firewall. You can forward logs from your third-party firewall, and it can be reporting to your Microsoft Sentinel. And you have the hunting. Okay, so the hunting is the various strategies Microsoft is currently using, to proactively hunt for threats across users' identity, credentials, and a whole lot of other kinds of processes or endpoints. So, like my colleague said, that Microsoft actually is spending 1 billion, annually on cybersecurity, and they have 3,500 security experts. You have two types of team within the security experts. Okay, you have the red team and the blue team. So the red team simulates the attack, and the blue team tries to defend or try to find out strategies, queries, or or hunting strategies to defend or to identify the threat and remediate the threats. Okay, and once they do that, they get to keep updating the solution by the day. They work 24/7 to update the solution. So as the threats are emerging, all right, they are actually finding out ways to also defend your workloads, your assets from these kinds of emerging threats. Okay, so I'm just going to dive into the connectors. So as of today, all right, there are 120 connectors within Microsoft Sentinel that you can actually onboard. So it makes it easy for you because there are actually steps by steps for you to follow to set up these connectors or to connect this to set up these connectors and onboard your various sources, your data sources to Microsoft Sentinel. So when I call data sources, I mean your disconnected endpoints, your devices, your products. It could be on AWS, it could be on GCP Cloud Platform, it could be your on-premises servers, it could be Microsoft solutions. And the good thing about the solution is that you can bring in your Office 365 Office 365 for free. Okay, you're not getting to pay anything. You're just paying for you're not paying for anything if you should onboard your Office 365. And also some of other Microsoft solutions are actually for free. So you can actually onboard them for free. But you are only paying for things like your on-premise servers, extracting or ingesting log or extracting logs from this various endpoints, your firewall, your AWS, your GCP platform, even your custom built application. You can actually use what is known as common event formats, okay, to onboard or to ingest logs from your custom built applications to Microsoft Sentinel, and you can monitor these solutions in real time, right? So as you can see, we're not just seeing just Microsoft solutions here or products, but we are seeing different kinds of solutions. You have your Amazon Web Service, okay, you have your Active Directory, you have your Azure Firewall, your AIP, your keywords, you have your Barracuda CloudGen Firewall, you have your Checkpoint, you have your Cisco, you can also onboard your FortiGate, and a whole lot of solutions. So because of this is a demo, so I'm just going to be showing you through the Office 365 connector and also your Microsoft Defender for Cloud. All right, so when you scroll down, you would see that we have onboarded just 9 products or connectors for this engagement, for this demo exercise, right? So I'm just going to select just the Office 365 and we go to open a connector page, right? You can view the various connectors. So you can see here that you have an instruction how to set up your Office 365. So you see that it's actually very, very easy to set up. It offers you this peace of mind as a service, right? Because you don't really have to have so much technical knowledge to set this solution up. So here we've selected your Exchange Online, your SharePoint, and your Teams. All right, so you will be getting information across your Exchange, users' activities. When an administrator sets up a policy or modifies or deletes a user or creates a new user, at what time that an event was carried out, a whole lot of information. You can see whatever is going on within your Exchange. And for your SharePoint and your Microsoft Teams, you get to see information like what files users are modifying, what files, most frequent files users are accessing. You can drill down to also know what kind of what IPs these users are using to connect or to access these files, what URL and the names of those files. Okay, so you see that you can never go wrong with this solution. So I'm just going to select one workbook, okay, that we can view. And I will select the one for SharePoint and OneDrive so we can have a whole lot of information. So because what I'm actually doing, I'm just going by templates. So I'm just clicking on the templates. But there are a whole lot of ways in which you can set up or configure the solution. You don't really necessarily have to go through this process, which I'm going through as of today. You can set up a rich dashboard system, okay? And then if you have like a big screen within your organization, you can project that screen for just your Sentinel dashboard. So when you're focusing on more important things within your organization, right? You can also once in a while, look at dashboards, see what's actually happening within your environment, how users' engagements are, what kind of incidents are being pulled from various data sources, and more information about those kinds of incidents, right? So now I'm just going to view the templates, okay? So I'm going to look at the time range of the last 30 days, and I want to view everything, files accessed and files downloaded, files modified. So it's just going to pull out this data for me. So having seen this, right? So we can see a summary count against OneDrive and SharePoint that there are over 4.24K events that has been ongoing for the last 30 days. Okay, so we can see the operation count here, files previewed, files accessed. You can also see the users who previewed those files. As you can see here, these are the users that have previewed those files. And also you can scroll down to drill down to get more information, right? Activities over time, the counts, for files previewed, you're seeing about 899 in total, files accessed and all of that, all the way to files downloaded. Okay, you can also see more information like this URLs that these users are actually accessing those files from. So if there is a strange activity, say that you have a IP, a unique IP block within your environment, okay, and then you're seeing a different kind of IP accessing a file, you may want to now start looking at that kind of activity and to know what's going on. You may want to start drilling down. Who is this user that is using a strange IP to connect to my environment? And you can start enforcing things like MFA, conditional accessing, and a whole lot of things you can do within, your Microsoft platform to secure that particular user that is actually signing in from an unknown location and using a strange IP. All right, so as you can see here, you have the IP details of these users that are actually accessing these files, and you're seeing the site URL for the SharePoint site they're actually accessing. Okay, you can see the IPs and you can see the URLs, and you can also drill down to see the names of the files. And like as shown here, you can see the source file name, you can see the extension, the source file extension, okay, and a whole lot of information that you can see. All right, so I am going to simply take you to the Microsoft Defender. Okay, so when we go to that template, right? So we're going to go back to the Microsoft Sentinel dashboard again, and I am simply going to search for the Microsoft Defender for Cloud. So really, what is this Microsoft Defender for Cloud, right? So it's an advanced threat protection. Okay, it uses machine learning, it uses big data analysis to protect your devices and your endpoints. So you see that it has a whole lot of benefits. You can actually use what is known as it has a whole lot of benefits like what is known as just-in-time access. You can use what is known as the vulnerability assessment to perform vulnerability assessment across these devices, to know whether there is a threat within these devices, to know what's actually happening in real time, and also take actions to these devices. So when I click on the Microsoft Defender for Cloud, right, I can simply go to my connector page again and then just click on one of the templates just so we have more information on what's actually happening in real time. Okay, so when I click on this, right, and I can view this workbook and view templates. So when I do this, I can go to my endpoints, updates, and protection, and then select the workspace that we have set up for our Sentinel. So as you can see, these are a few devices, workstations that we have onboarded to Sentinel, right? Just a few of them. And you can see that they are all protected using Microsoft Defender. And so far, the status is showing no threats detected. Real-time protection, and you're seeing a whole lot of information. So you can see that they are actually secured. So if there was some sort of a malicious activity, going on within that particular workstation, it would have flagged it and you would have, tried to take action afterwards from there or fix, and if there is no endpoint protection within this workstation, this solution has the capability, to point or to spot out these workstations or these servers that there is no endpoint protection, and to recommend that you need to install or set up an endpoint protection on your servers. And then you can also automate the installation of this endpoint protection by clicking on fix or remediate. You can use what is known as a logic app to automatically, install endpoint protection for every servers or workstations that you've onboarded to Windows and your Microsoft Defender. And then it can automatically set up that or install the Microsoft Defender on those kind of workstations. Now, having said all of this, right? So I want to talk briefly on the source solution. All right. So you really don't have to consistently come to the Microsoft dashboard to view what's happening or to know what's happening in real time. you can actually focus on what's really important within your organization, why the solution does the job for you. So it's heavily integrated with what is known as it has what is known as the playbook, which is heavily integrated with what is known as a logic app. Okay, that is used to automate tasks. So you can set up a notification to send email to you when there is an incident. You can set the priority of the incident to medium, low, or critical. So you can get emails notification when it is critical, or you can get email notifications when it is medium or when it's low. However you want to configure it, and you can also automate. That if there is an incident, okay, I need this solution to automatically, fix this incident and then send me a notification to inform me that we found out that there was a brute force attack, or there was a particular user who kept on trying to attempted password resets, okay, multiple times. Block such user. So you can automate such activities, whereby such users that have tried to set up a rule, okay, for users that have tried to reset their password up to 5 times, automatically block such users, and you get a notification for that. And then you can check who is this user that is trying to, reset password multiple times. Then you can confirm for that from such users, are you trying to reset your password and what's actually going on? And if it's not that user is trying to perform that activities, you can take further actions on that. Okay, so that is what the SOAR solution does. Okay, it automatically responds to such threats. And again, you can bring in your machine learning model. So if you already have a machine learning model that you're actually using today in your traditional infrastructure, you can bring in that model if it works for you. Okay, and also ingest it into Microsoft Sentinel and use that same model to proactively hunt for threats. Okay, so I'm just going to take you through the dashboard, okay, for how you can also onboard and how easy it is for you to onboard, your on-premises workloads within Microsoft Sentinel. So just a quick one. So if you go to the Microsoft Defender for Cloud, all right, so you would see the overview, right? You can view the workload protections, okay, when you have the Defender for Cloud coverage. So because we actually haven't onboarded so much workloads within the Microsoft, because this is actually a demo platform, and that's why you're seeing just a few itemized workloads here. So 4 servers, 1 storage. We've actually enabled Defender on the subscription itself. So for whatever you're trying to provision within your cloud platform, that's already Microsoft Defender enabled on that protection, on that subscription as well. So you can set it up for your DNS subscriptions, and also these are the benefits that it brings to you. Your advanced protection gives you vulnerability assessment scanning. Okay, you can consistently keep scanning your environment for threats. You have a just-in-time virtual machine access, adaptive application control, container image scanning, adaptive network hardening, a secret vulnerability assessment, file integrity monitoring, network map, and your IoT security. So these are just a few of what you can do with your Microsoft Defender. So having said this, really, I don't think now it's actually the time for you to take action, because where we were sometime a year back, with technology, is not where we are today. So technology is actually in a progressive stage. It's actually moving. So, and we have to move as it's actually moving to stay at the forefront of our business, to ensure that we enjoy the capabilities and the opportunity that this cloud brings to us. Okay, so you can onboard your workloads at scale. Okay, it's very easy to onboard, and you can pull in logs. So you're only paying for the number of logs, okay, that you're ingesting into this platform, right? So you're not paying for any of the thing. All right, so, and it's actually very easy to set up. Okay, all you need to do is set up a workspace and enable Sentinel on that workspace, and then you're good to go. Then you can start onboarding your various data sources to Microsoft Sentinel. So actually, why waste time? You have to take action today, right? Because this solution is actually rich, and it actually gives you that peace of mind as a service. Please feel free to ask your questions should you have any questions at the moment. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kennedy, for that wonderful presentation. And thank you, Tenalu, as well. So we have questions in the chat window already, which will be responded to. Okay, so we have responses already in the same chat window. I hope you're very clear on that question. Microsoft Sentinel similar to Sophos Central or Endpoint. So we have Olawale responding to that question. If you are still not clear, please do well to ask for more clarification. Thank you very much. So at this junction, we are on to the question and answer segment, which means you can still drop as many questions as possible, and they'll be well responded to. So we're expecting more questions at the moment. So it appears we are not having any question from you, so which means we'll deduce that you fully understand the opportunities available for your organization on Microsoft Sentinel. So thank you very much for staying with us all through the webinar. And we've come to the end of this session. Also, should you want to reach out to us or engage us further from now, you can reach us via our emails displayed on the screen. Also, you can also follow us across our social media platform for further conversations. I can see Linus requesting for the recording, so it will be shared with you. Your emails too has been provided. Should anyone also need the recording for this webinar, kindly kindly indicate in the chat window. So we have another question in the chat window. How can I have access to Microsoft Sentinel? So we can we have responses to that as well?
Okay, so let me respond to that. So if to have access to Microsoft Sentinel, so you need to have, that's the first requirement, you need to have an Azure platform. Okay, so once you have an Azure platform with the right subscription enabled, okay, then you can start deploying services within your Azure platform. All right, so usually Microsoft has this free trial, so you can also try to use a free trial, you know, to have the platform set up, and then you can play around that platform, see how you can what services, you know, you can deploy on it. So that's how you can have Microsoft Sentinel.
Thank you very much, Kennedy, for that swift response. So I hope your questions has been well answered. Should you still have more questions, we can still give you, we still have a couple of 5 more minutes to take new questions. Please do drop them in the chat window. And even after this webinar, if you still want to have more conversations with us, like I mentioned earlier, our email address is displayed on the screen. So you can reach out to us and engage us beyond here. So we've come to the end of this webinar. Thank you very much for attending. Also, a survey link will be sent to you to get your feedback on how the webinar was at your own end. So do take time to fill those surveys. That is how we know you participated and you really found the session very insightful. So we'll send that to your email as well. So once again, thank you everyone for joining us today. Do have a wonderful day. Bye everyone.